Hi everyone, I am Alex Ray. After doing some of our Taylor Swift content, me and my friend Blake McLean listened to Midnights at a Cat Cafe and reacted to it. That's on his channel and I will link it below. We did our reaction to the 3 a.m. tracks, which is on my channel. I did a Bejeweled music video reaction, and through all of that content, I mentioned, like, would you guys want lyric breakdowns? And everybody was like, absolutely yes. So this is my first in-depth lyric breakdown. We are going to do Anti-Hero and kind of weave in the music video too and see how the music video relates to the lyrics. Please like, subscribe, leave me a comment below telling me what I missed, what's your favorite part, do you have a different interpretation? I want to hear it all. So without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it. So first, what has Taylor herself told us about Anti-Hero? We got an Instagram reel on October 3rd. Taylor explained that she loves this song because it's really honest. It's one of her favorite songs she's ever written. She's never delved this deep into her insecurities in this detail, and she struggles a lot with the idea that her life has become unmanageably sized, and she struggles with not even feeling like a person anymore. That it's a guided tour through all the things she tends to hate about herself. And we all hate things about ourselves, and it's all of those aspects of the things we dislike and like about ourselves that we have to come to terms with if we're going to be the person that we are. So she went on to explain in a Spotify video that Midnights has kind of 5 themes to it. It's, we have revenge, we have wondering what would have been, we have falling in love, we have, and then we have self-loathing, which is kind of the 5th theme of those. I was like trying to count as I went. Those aren't 5 themes, but she told us at least we have fantasizing about revenge, we have wondering what might have been, we have falling in love, and we have self-loathing. And that was the first thing that kept her up at night, that helped inspire the Midnights album. And so Anti-Hero pretty much encompasses that feeling of self-loathing and insecurity and not feeling like a person anymore. So any sources, because I scoured the internet for lyric breakdowns, TikTokers who have done what I've done already, Twitter users who have had comments about the Anti-Hero lyrics, and I will tag any source that I used in the description. Please put your insights in the comments. Like, I'll pop them up on the screen when I do the next lyric breakdown, because I really do love everybody's interpretations about it, because if you watch the Cat Cafe Midnights reaction, you know that sometimes I am very off base. So let's dive straight into verse 1 of Anti-Hero. I have this thing where I get older, but just never wiser. Where have we seen this before? The Archer. I never grew up. It's getting so old. So this idea is the antithesis of you live and you learn. You get older, you take these life lessons, and you make your life better. Taylor doesn't think that she does that. She thinks that she's making the same mistakes she always has. That at heart she's still really young and not experienced and maybe immature. And while I was doing some research for this song, I came across and remembered after Look What You Made Me Do came out, a ton of media sources just absolutely tore her apart, saying she was immature, that the song was petty, that it's the writings and the ramblings of a scorned teenage girl. And I don't know if she remembered that and was like, and maybe the lyric is a little bit two-sided, yeah, she feels like that, but also fuck you guys, I'm still a teenager, it's kind of sarcastic almost. I don't know if she looked specifically at that media backlash, but I did think it was interesting that the media is kind of echoed this internal insecurity that she has, which is just a really terrible thing. Midnights become my afternoons. As she explores in the next lyric, it seems like maybe insomnia is just a result of her depression, or a symptom of her depression, and a result of her overthinking and her anxiety being more active at night. So at this point in the music video, we've got the plate of eggs, which I don't know why I'm making this, because I'll pop it up on the screen, technology exists. That's in the eggs or the eyes, the broccoli is the nose, and then the bacon's the smiley. And she cuts into the egg, and this lavender sparkly goo comes out. Speak Now is coming next. Because the Bejeweled music video, Miss Blondie had PDF files of the Easter eggs in this, and it's Speak Now, right? So what color is associated with Speak Now? Purple. So maybe this is just an Easter egg for Speak Now, but I think it's deeper than that. I talked a lot with Blake about this specific shot in the music video. And on one side, we kind of landed on this could be another reiteration of I've got this thing where I get older but never wiser. You know, she's got this happy, polished look, but she cuts into it, and she's still a little, you know, she's still a kid. She's still the teenager she was when she wrote Speak Now, all by herself, and just, like, let it all out there. But on the other side, the purple goo, and every time we've seen it this far, minus the egg, it's coming out of her. So one TikTok user pointed out that we've seen the purple goo in the Man music video. Taylor peed on the side of the wall in the subway station, and it was the purple sparkly goo. Later in the music video, we see her throw up the purple sparkly goo. We see her get shot. She bleeds the purple sparkly goo. So we've got to assume, and maybe, you know, or deduce, that when she cuts in this egg, it's symbolic for what's bleeding out of her. So it could be that the real her is hiding behind this super polished celebrity, you know, person who's expected of society to act a certain kind of way. But when she's wounded, when she's cut, when she's hurt, you know, like, look what you made me do, scorned, the real her comes out. And it's sparkly and nice and pretty, but, you know, people don't love it, and people don't see it a lot. So my brain is like, okay. When my depression works the graveyard shift, the symptoms of her depression more active at night, right? So same as I wake in the night, I pace like a ghost. Midnights become my afternoon. All of the people I've ghosted stand there in the room, okay? Here it could be, ghosting could be the people that she's hurt and lost that chose to, like, let go. The people that tried to make a relationship with her and she ghosted, she was like, you know, I don't want to be that vulnerable. But either way, like, they're not in her life, and she's, like, seeing them, like, as spirits. Which is another cool, like, imagery. Like, the people I've ghosted, they're also the ghosts that haunt her. And so we're in the music video, we also see that, like, the ghosts start popping up, the ghosts with the sheets over them start popping up. I'm sorry, I have, like, cat hair all over me. I have 5 animals. And some Taylor content creators pointed out that the cat ear headband and the red sunglasses are from the 22 music video. And then we have Country Taylor, the one with the hat on. So maybe it's just an implication that she's, like, can't really run from her past self, like, her past selves and her past mistakes, her past genres, like who she was. Maybe she misses it, maybe she's scared of it, maybe she can't get away from them. And then we have, I should not be left to my own devices. They come with prices and vices. I end up in crisis. Okay, I love how the line itself, and Taylor does a great job of this. Like, you know, we're like boom, 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 to, like, even how she sings it gives this imagery like she's spiraling. So she sings it like, I should not be left to my own devices. They come with prices and vices. I end up in crisis. You know, it's boom, boom, boom. And I mean, this lyric, you know, when you're alone with your thoughts and you overthink, you spiral. You know, everybody has that one thing they did in, like, 2005, like that thing they spent money on that they still regret, or that stupid thing they did, or that embarrassing moment, you know, and they spiral because of it. But the next line is my favorite line in this whole song. Tale as old as time. And so we just had the, you know, really spit out lyrics, but now we have tale as old as time. And it sounds exhausted. Like, you guys know it, but here we are, you know. It just seems like it's a parallel of I have this thing where I get older but never wiser, you know, like, here we are doing the same things. Wake up screaming from dreaming, one day I'll watch as you leaving, 'cause you got tired of my scheming for the last time. There are kind of like 2 schools of thought on this lyric, and honestly, okay, overarchingly, I don't even know if that's a word, there are 2 schools of thought of what Antihero is about. Some people think it's about Joe. Some people think it is a letter to Joe being like, oh my God, you're gonna leave me, and it's just because of all this shit, and I can't come to terms with it, and I'm scared, you know. Personally, and I think the clearer answer, especially when you watch the music video, is that Anti-Hero is a song to like fans, friends, and cathartic for herself. I don't know that she wrote it with any intention. You know, when she wrote it, she was like, I'm going to tell them how I feel. I think it was more cathartic. Like, fuck, I can't get over these insecurities about myself. I have to get it out on paper. But I think if you had to choose who is the audience, I think it's her fans. I think it's her friends, her, you know, her family, just like the general public who knows who Taylor Swift is. And scheming, apparently, especially not apparently, as a Swiftie, like, she says she plans things 3 years in advance. She leaves Easter eggs for us. She knows we love it, you know. She plays with us. She talks to us on social media, you know. And I think this line goes along with the statement that she's made that between every tour, she's constantly trying to reinvent herself. You know, we have eras. She's constantly trying to polish herself up and make her shiny and new and something that people want to hold on to. So this line seems like nothing new with her and Phoebe Bridgers. It seems like I have to keep scheming, but what if one day you get sick of it and you leave and I lose everything? I think that's more what this line means. Because even when she was a younger artist, she made the statement, I give myself a few seconds every day to be like, yes, this is happening. And then the rest of the day, I'm trying to figure out how to make it last. I think she still feels like that, you know? In Miss Americana, she even said, you know, I'm getting up there to where, like, the next thing I do is going to be the last successful album that I have. You know, I think she still feels like this is all going to get taken away at some point. And in this song, she thinks it's going to be her fault. The boppy part. And so at this point, she's been running from these ghosts up to this point in the music video. But now we have It's Me, Hi. Those were the first, Easter egg wise, those were the first words that she said to us in Midnight's Mayhem, this bitch. But in the music video, she is running from the ghost in the house, and she opens the door to sparkly Anti-Hero Taylor. That's kind of what I'm going to call the evil stepsister, is Anti-Hero Taylor. And they're also, I loved it, they're wearing the same colors. The real Taylor has the horizontal stripes and the more muted look. You know, she's not got a lot of makeup on. Her hair is just, you know, a little more casual. And then we have Anti-Hero Taylor, who's sparkly, and she's got the snake boots, and she's got the sparkly pants, and then the stripes are the same colors, but they're vertical. And she's got the full glam on. And so it's clear that it's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me. This is about anything wrong that has ever happened in her life, losing her career, losing her fans, losing somebody, it's her fault. It's because of her insecurities. And so Blake and I had a long talk about what we think this is. We tend to find solace in terrible coping mechanisms and bad insecurities, like eating disorders, like drinking, like acting out and having parties and being volatile and, you know, doing all these things. And they're so fun. And, you know, we find solace in them. And then we wake up one day and we're like, wait, what the fuck? You've ruined my life. And so I think that's kind of what this is, but we'll talk about that as we go on. So it's me, I'm the problem, it's me. Pretty self-explanatory, right? The root of all of her problems is her. And it's catchy, right? The song's a fucking bop. But it is so honest. It's like full of self-loathing and hatred. And at this point, when she says, I'm the problem, it's me, we're to the scene where she's in this living room area. And Taylor's playing the koi guitar, which is another Speak Now Easter egg, right? Like the koi guitar was what she played on the Speak Now tour literally every night. And Anti-Hero Taylor is smashing it. And so I also like this. This is kind of interesting to me because it kind of, it's like the old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. She's dead. You know, like Anti-Hero Taylor's like, smash that shit. We're not Speak Now anymore. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not who we are. At Tea Time, you know, when Look What You Made Me Do came out, tea, that was like the saying, like, oh, who has the tea, you know? And in the Look What You Made Me Do music video, tea was a very prevalent, like, theme throughout it. We have Taylor sitting in the throne, the snake's pouring her tea, you know. We've got, you know, talking about the receipts, whatever. So at Tea Time, it's like everybody agrees. It's whoever this audience is, you know, or whoever she's talking about, when they're having their gossip sessions and they're sharing the tea, they're like, we can't stand Taylor Swift. It's her fault. And that was such an interesting way to say that. And I thought a lot about the tea time lyric. Like, what does that mean? But like, what do you do at tea time? Literally, you gather around, you hang out, you have tea, you know. Figuratively, you're gossiping. You're sharing gossip. And so I think that's it. She's saying, hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I know that. But also when people are talking, you know, when they're gossiping, they're talking shit. They think that too. So like, it's confirmed. Like, I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. So when I first heard this lyric, I thought it said, I'll stand directly in the sun, but never in the mirror. And I thought it meant more like, I'll stand in the spotlight, like right here, all eyes on me, but I won't stand in the mirror for too long. You know, I'll take all of your praise and your attention, but I'm not gonna look too hard at myself because I don't want to look at it. But it's really, I'll stare. And then later it switches to I'll look. And so I think this is, I will literally look. She will look at a fucking ball of fire in the sky that can fucking blind you before she looks and addresses her own flaws in the mirror. So finally, it must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero. So the Oxford definition of anti-hero or anti-hero is a central character in a story, movie, or drama who lacks conventional hero attributes. So honestly, when I hear anti-hero, the first person I think of is like Black Adam in that new, I think it's a Marvel movie. You know, he's the protagonist of the story. The story is about him, but really he's kind of a villain almost. Like, but you're still rooting for him because he's the protagonist. He's the main person. And it's also kind of like that with, I mean, if you think of media, like, especially in animes, like, you can, like, root for the people who are, like, not good. Like, I think of, like, Hunter x Hunter, like, Hisoka. I'm like, yes, I need more Hisoka, you know, but, like, he's obviously a villain. So here, I mean, I think, and this is another reason I think that this is more of, like, a letter to her fans, or she was thinking of her fans and her career when she wrote it, was her fans, it's because her fans have rooted for her, you know, the real ones have been through this, you know, when the Kim K call came out or what, we've still been here. But in this song, she's like, I fucking suck. Like, why are you still here? Like, are you fucking tired yet? You know, like, I can't, like, one day you're gonna fucking have enough of, like, always rooting for the person that's gonna let you down and be the villain, and you're gonna leave. And so at this point in the music video, we've got the, anti-hero Taylor has the blackboard up and she's like teaching, everyone will betray you. And anti-hero Taylor's pointing to it, and it seems like this is Taylor's internal monologue. Like, anti-hero Taylor represents like the voices in the back of Taylor's head prepping her for the worst, like, everyone's gonna leave you. And I think this is the case too, because the original Taylor in the video is like intently watching the board, taking notes, like, okay, yeah, I got this. Like, I'll buy into this. You're right. So I think anti-hero Taylor represents societal pressures, her internal terrible monologue, you know, her narcissism, you know, all those things. But obviously the original Taylor, like the core person, is buying into this. Which also brings me to, like, I didn't plan on talking about this, but it just made me think of it. Also, I am big advocate for mental health, which I know in the year 2022, you're like, yeah, of course, like, that's just being a human being. But I am currently in eating disorder treatment and mental health treatment for a variety of sparkly issues in my life. And so one thing that my therapist that I've been seeing for a really long time, she loves parts work. And if you're not familiar with what parts work is, it's basically where we have Alex is this core personality. It's like a core being. So it's not, don't confuse it with like dissociative personality disorder or split personality. Don't confuse it with that. It's just a type of therapy. Like, we have this core person, we have this core personality who Alex really is. then we have these parts, you know, like we have the advocate, like that's one of my parts. Like I want to advocate for everybody around me and fight for them. We have the narcissistic part, you know, the part that's like, oh, you know, that we don't really like to talk about, that's not comfy, that like a lot of people have flaws with, but you know, we shove her down, you know, so we all have these different parts. And I thought this music video was a great illustration of parts work, you know. Even if you don't struggle with a personality disorder where your brain is like, fuck, must protect you from trauma, split, like we can all still benefit from looking at these parts of ourselves that don't reflect who we really are, and like analyzing them almost as a different person. Like having an eating disorder, I know in eating disorder treatment it helps a lot to say, what is the eating disorder telling us? Like obviously it's still my brain, but that's not what core Alex wants, you know what I mean? So I thought this video was really great illustration of that. So, okay, we're on Verse True. Tangent aside. Also, if you're still watching, like and subscribe. It helps me out so much. And if you want to see my music video reaction, my initial one to the Anti-Hero music video, it is on my Patreon, and I will link it below. Thanks. Okay, plug over. Okay, Verse 2. Sometimes I feel like everybody is a sexy baby. Now, when I heard this lyric for the first time, I was like, what in the fuck did she just say? Can you roll that back? My lovely friend, who's very into 30 Rock, was like, no, this is what that's from. And a ton of people online already made the connection, so I'll kind of like pop things up here and there. There's a scene in 30 Rock in where what's her name? Liz Lemon is talking to this woman named Abby, and she accuses Abby of putting on a sexy baby act for male attention, basically. It's in the episode TGS Hates Women. And so really it's commentary on how men can be predatory towards women with like childlike and infantile attributes, which is terrifying. But like, think about it. I mean, we live in a world where it's like the less wrinkles you have, the better. The less hair you have, the better. Like the smoother your skin is, the better. The more petite you are, the better. Like those are like all attributes of a child. Like that's fucking terrible. Like that's, you know, like, I mean, that's scary. But I think Taylor, that was what she was referring to, like this sexy baby act for male attention. But on the other side, she's like a fucking monster on a hill. However, on the other side, when I first heard it, I almost heard it as, so to be clear, like that's one school of thought. That's what, I think the majority agrees with that. However, I interpreted the lyric when I first heard it, I don't really know which way I fall yet, as like, think of Nothing New with her and Phoebe Bridgers. Like, there's somebody who's going to come along, sparkly new, they're going to be 18 years old, they're going to be doing everything Taylor was, and she's going to cry herself to sleep. I kind of see it as that. You know, in the music video, she's crawling in this room as a big monster, you know, large person, and all these younger people are sitting together having dinner. I think Sexy Baby was more of like, they're young, they're hot, they're sparkly, and I can't hang with that, you know, I can't compete with that. Paired with the next line too, especially, I think it kind of, this line could just indicate she feels, like she said, her life is unmanageably sized and she can't make close relationships anymore. She can't hang out with people. She can't be normal, you know, which, I mean, how could she be? Yeah. And I'm a monster on a hill, is the next line. And so in the music video at this point, she's crawling into the dining room. There's all these young people, they're having dinner, and they're like, oh my fucking God, what is this? Somebody comes out, shoots her with an arrow, she bleeds the purple goo again. And so, I mean, we've already had like a lot of references to the same concepts that she's explored in The Archer. So I think this is just another one, you know, like, I've been the archer, I've been the prey. So she gets shot, and then she pulls the tablecloth up to kind of like put it over herself, and she wrecks dinner. And then she puts the badge over it that says, vote for me for everything. So some people think that the anti-hero version of Taylor and the Archer kind of represent a certain record label, you know, covering up who she really is. shoot it down. Nope, like, get that out of here. We can't show the world to that. And this is going to get a little clownish, so just strap on. But Miss Americana, a lot of people think she gets shot, purple goose is out, she puts a badge over it that says vote for me for everything, right? What's that? That's these little buttons, that's a political badge, right? Some people think, and I think I'm in this school of thought too, that Miss Americana was supposed to be this documentary in which she came out for who she really was. That we were going to see the real Taylor, that we were going to see her be honest for the first time and let us see who we've been supporting this whole time. But it was politicized. It turned into this documentary where she was like, announcing that she's a Democrat. And I'm not saying I don't love Miss Americana. I love Miss Americana. I'm just saying I think it was intended to be a lot more honest than it was, and turned into this politicized thing. And maybe she's just like, like, it was good, but like, that's like, why can't I leave this out? Like, but regardless, her inner self is the purple glittery goo. But she can't let it leak out because she's got to uphold this like perceived public interpretation of who she is. And the bow and arrow is like I just said, it's a direct nod to the archer. So she's been the prey of, people wounding her, and every time she's wounded and scorned, the real her comes out. Okay, too big to hang out. So we've got a couple different layers to that. We have the fat thing, but we also have, she said she feels like her life is unmanageably sized. Like, I think that's the answer. Like, she's too famous, she's too much personality wise, she's too emotional, she's too deep, she's just too big in every single way to just find another very deep personal relationship anymore, and she feels like she doesn't fit in with any group, so I think maybe even paired with the narcissism altruism lyric, could also be she's too big to hang out because of an inflated sense of self-worth. And I got this from online somewhere. I saw this idea either from Twitter or TikTok, so I'll put that up here too, because I did not think this for the first time, but I think it makes sense. That she secretly has this inflated sense of self-worth, and she's too good to do it. And I don't mean that in a Taylor's walking around thinking she's too good, but like, if you have a personality disorder, or if you've ever felt narcissistic, like, you have those moments. So slowly lurching towards your favorite city. I mean, I feel like that is she ruins everything she touches. Like, she's just overarching. Like, she comes in the room, she's too big to hang out, she just fucks it all up. Pierced through the heart but never killed. Like, that's very much like, think of like Michael Myers. Like, he fucking dies every other movie, right? But you can't get rid of him. It's kind of like that. She's like the thing that you can't shake off. No pun intended. And you can hurt her, insert media backlash, scandals, the phone call incident, fucking jet plane, environmental crisis, what the fuck ever. But she never goes away. And for the people who hate her, they're fucking exhausted. I mean, like, get on Twitter for 5 minutes, you can find people who are like, oh my God, I can't, blah, blah, blah. I'm only hearing about Taylor Swift. Yeah, you are. You hear about my covert narcissism, I might disguise as altruism, like some kind of congressman. Okay, number one, there were people saying this album is mid on the lyrics, and I don't, like, did you just hear that? But I think this is, I personally have struggled with it. Like, when I got my psych eval done a couple of years ago, my psychologist was like, have you ever been told that you're a little narcissistic? And I was like, the fuck? But I mean, it's true. Like, if I do have tendencies of that. Like, I have a personality disorder. Like, it's there. But I think a lot of people, especially if you want to be in the arts, like, if you want to be a content creator, a musician, a streamer, an entertainer, anything like that, you have to have a little bit of narcissism. You have to think what you are giving the world brings enough value that people will eventually pay you for what you are doing, And I mean, I think she was just really honest, like, disguised as altruism, like giving people money, like helping with things, making donations, like, like, vote for me for everything. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, sure, maybe I did it for the right reason, but it's also good publicity. Like, and I mean, you know, I think that's really honest. Like, you can say it's right or wrong, but like, damn, like it just, I appreciate it. Like, tale as old as time. Same thing. Celebrities and political figures have been doing forever. You know, everybody does it, but she's said it now. You know, I wake up screaming from dreaming. One day I'll watch as you're leaving, and life will lose all its meaning for the last time. So a lot of people take the life will lose all of its meaning as like proof that this is about Joe. And I'm not saying that it's not to some extent. I just think life will lose all of its meaning. Like, we have songs throughout Midnights. We have Midnight Rain. We have You're on Your Own, Kid, that tell us explicitly what she has put first in her life is her career as a singer, songwriter, musician, entertainer, performer. You know, that's what she's put first. So what gives her meaning in her life? This, like, you know. So I think this album especially has made it clear, like, yeah, some of the struggles that she's had, like staying awake at midnights, are over people, relationships, you know, love interest, lost love, whatever. But some of them are over, like, how she's going to make this happen. Like, I'm chasing that fame. He wanted a bride. I wanted that pain. Like, you know, you're on your own, kid. Chorus, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. So anti-hero Taylor and Taylor are jumping on the bed. And I love the difference here. So first chorus, we had anti-hero Taylor comes in the door and she's like, to the rescue. Like, they're having fun, they're taking shots, Taylor's laughing, she's playing guitar, anti-hero Taylor is, you know, smashing the guitar, she's teaching her lessons, you know, they're having a great time. And Taylor has found solace in this narcissistic, like, self-sabotaging version of herself. But now on the second chorus, shit's going wrong, okay? They're jumping on the bed having fun, anti-hero Taylor pushes her off. They're drinking, and anti-hero Taylor's pushing it, like, let's go, and Taylor throws up the purple goo again. So, I mean, it's such a stark contrast, and I think it's just indicative of, like, we can, like, lean into these unhealthy coping mechanisms and the flaws within ourselves and hide behind them as much as we want, but, like, eventually one day it's going to bite us in the ass. And I think that's what she's trying to get across here, that anti-hero Taylor's been trying to sabotage her this whole time. So it's just the internal struggle between core personality and this narcissistic anti-hero personality. At tea time, everybody agrees. I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. It must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero. So we talked about those lyrics, but in the music video, we got the bathroom scene. And before that scene was edited, I did my reaction to the anti-hero music video, which is on my Patreon, and we talked pretty in depth about, like, what I thought about all that. So as somebody with an eating disorder who's trying to recover from that eating disorder, who is also not, like, I am by definition not a fat person. Like, I'm definitely mid-sized. I've definitely got chub on me. I have some fat on me, you know, like, I'm not a fat person. There have been times in my life that I have been fat, that I have experienced fat phobia. But I think her putting fat on the scale was a way to, it wasn't fat phobic, but it's also hard for me to say that because I'm not experiencing fat phobia. You know what I mean? Like, I have even fallen victim to, not even fallen victim, I've made the mistake of saying, like, oh my God, I feel so fat right now. Fat's not a bad thing. Being fat's not a bad thing. Being fat doesn't mean you're not pretty. It doesn't mean you're not worthy. It doesn't mean you can't have fun, can't do what other people do. Like, it doesn't mean anything. But I think the commentary Taylor was trying to get across was that in Hollywood, in her career, fat has equaled bad. That her eating disorder has convinced her that fat equals bad. And that a lot of people have been convinced by their eating disorders or disorder eating or society or their jobs or whatever that fat equals bad. So I think that was the point behind it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I know this is kind of like getting old of a, we've been talking about this for 2 weeks, but I'd still love to hear your thoughts on it. And so also in this scene, Marjorie, her grandmother, is pictured behind Taylor standing up Taylor's standing on the scale, and then Marjorie's in the picture in the background. I think this is also a commentary. I'm sure it's just a wonderful ode to her grandmother. But also, you know, Marjorie, in the song Marjorie, Taylor talks about how she's the one who wanted the fame, how Marjorie wanted, you know, she was an opera singer, like she was pretty famous in her own right, and that she left her backlog dreams to Taylor. So I also think that this might be an indication that the memory of her grandmother she's put some pressure on herself. Taylor's put some extra pressure on herself in this attempt to live up to what her grandma wanted, and what her grandma wanted of her. And not in a bad way, not in a malicious way, not in a, like, Marjorie was living vicariously through her. I think Taylor's just saying, like, she left this to me, like, I have to do something with it, you know? Okay. And then we have that scene. We've got the bridge / verse 3 situation. I have this dream. My daughter-in-law kills me for the money. Okay. Chaotic. So Twitter user Oceans All Waves thinks that this line indicates Taylor's music is her child. And her daughter-in-law is the people who love her music or have claimed her music for their own. Okay. And so this could be about the fans. This could be like the fans, the label, people who are trying to profit off of her in general, which, like, you could list out a million people who are probably trying to do that. But they kill her for the money that she thinks Taylor left her in the will. Okay. She thinks I left them in the will. I mean, this could just be fans, the label, people trying to profit off of her, think they are owed new content, new music, new insights into her life, you know, new interviews, new looks, you know, new everything. But the family gathers around and reads it, and then someone screams out, she's laughing up at us from hell. I mean, I think this is, number one, a play on how she's secretly malicious and vengeful and narcissistic, because, like, Midnight's very much explores, like, the need for revenge. Blake, though, and I'm not even, like, I'm going to say this, I don't believe it. Blake thinks she's only doing 13 albums, and that this is an indication that once that's done, people are still going to want more from her, and she's not going to give it to him, because she's going to do her own thing. I guess I'm in that camp of being, like, somebody who wants more, because, like, that makes me want to cry, but yeah. But also, so in the music video, we've got this whole, like, theatrical will reading funeral scene. And so some content creators have pointed out the will font is the same font from the rep era, which, you know, the old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. She's dead. And the daughter-in-law's name is Kimber, which some people think is a nod to Kim Kardashian, and Midnight's was released on Kim's birthday. Kimber. Oh my God. So that's pretty wild. And we know Taylor doesn't have a problem calling out those two people. You know, we saw it in folklore, you know, clowns to the east, clowns to the west. West was capitalized. You know, she obviously doesn't have your tilted stage. She doesn't have a problem calling them out directly. And then we've got the chorus again. But this first part, we have kind of a double chorus here at the end. And the first part is that exhausted singing again. It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me, hi. You know, everybody agrees. Like, just like, everybody knows. But so at this point in the music video, we've got the snake boots on Antihero Taylor. And, like, we saw them before, but they're very prevalent. They're sitting on the house. And so, I mean, this scene I think is very beautiful because it's Taylor making amends with the parts of herself that she hates. And she said that at the beginning, you have to make amends with the parts you like and that you hate about yourself to be the person that you want to be. So I think them sitting on the house all drinking together, all three parts of her, is like this, okay, like, just, we'll figure it out. Let's make amends. Like, we're all friends here, you know? And then Blake, when we were listening to it, when we were doing the lyric breakdown, he was like, oh my God, did she just hiss like a snake? Everybody agrees. You know? We all know what that's referring to, right? Like, no explanation needed. And so, I mean, that pretty much covers the whole lyric breakdown, but last thoughts, I think the music video makes it clear that the song is a song about self-loathing, about public persona, about insecurities, rather than a song to Joe, which I think those are definitely on the album, but, and I think this could be this is just directed to people that she loves in general, which Joe could fall into that camp, of course, but, and I think Big Taylor, so we've got 3 parts of Taylor. We've got the core Taylor, we've got the middle Taylor, we've got anti-hero Taylor, and we've got the big lumbering monster Taylor. I think monster Taylor kind of indicates her own imposter syndrome. Like, I don't know if I deserve all this. Like, I am not worthy of good connections. Like, I can't find friends. I can't hang out with anybody. I don't fit in. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have anti-hero Taylor, who is the narcissist, who is controlling, who is manipulative, who is calculating and scheming and leaving Easter eggs and planning things so far in advance. And then we have core Taylor, like, dead center in the middle, you know? And so I think the last scene is very beautiful of, like, we've got these sides of ourselves and then the core us, and we have to be okay with all parts of ourselves to be our person as a whole. So, I mean, this is going to be a 30-minute video. There's no, if you're watching this still, I can't believe you are. But I would love to hear, what did I miss? What did you like? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Like, all comments welcome. Keep the conversation going. Please like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'll link some more Taylor content that we've done. And right after I get this done, I'm actually going to film and record just a simple, like, anti-hero cover, because, like, really wanting to do that right now. And so if you want more exclusive content coming, please join my Patreon. These lyric breakdown videos take a long time to film and prep for. So I will probably do them kind of one at a time, and after we get a couple on YouTube, alternate them between YouTube and Patreon, just so I make sure I have content for everybody. But thank you so much for hanging out. I am Alex Ray, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.